I guess I don't have to wear my mask for this.
You gotta take off that gray mask now.
Is that a bit? This is episode 8, I believe. Welcome to co-host with
Creany and the Gipper. Hey, all of our friends and foes and enemies alike. Welcome to the show. I'm doing a new lighting thing where I like to look like a devil.
It looks great. I think you look great. I feel like your framing is a little bit more. You're a little closer to the camera. I like it. And I do like that you brought up our enemies watching, and I think that that's a thing we want to make sure that we highlight. If you are our enemy, please watch the stream. It's a great way to get intel on stuff you can use against us. I'm going to tell you, we're going to say a lot of incriminating stuff on just every episode. And so if you want to, if you want to cancel us, if you want to, figure out some way to cause us misery and pain, please keep watching, because it's we just need the watches, really.
Venmo at Gipper 2020. It's my personal Venmo. Rob cannot touch that money. I keep it in an offshore account. I will say, there'll be a lot of comics saying things on the show that might be controversial. Things like no lives matter. Am I right? Things like that. Things like lootin', I thought it was hootin', picture of an owl. There's usually a lot of riffs and raffs, improvising, but sometimes we have a serious moment. Right, Rob?
We've had some serious moments, for sure.
Glad you brought that up, because I would be honored if you wrote the foreword for my book. I got a lot. I have a lot going on. I understand.
And a couple of them were intentionally serious.
Mm-hmm. And we normally start the show off being a bunch of goofballs, getting into our tomfoolery. Yeah. We love it. We're masters in tomfoolery.
You might call this goofs.
But we're going to change things up, because we have a friend of the show. You may recognize him.
He played a lot of great characters on the show.
Winner of the dating game. He played Guy Who Can't Stop Talking About the Chicago Bulls documentary.
The Bulls. They're the Bulls.
Anthony McGillicuddy, who has the most professional and unprofessional losses in boxing.
Being in quarantine is like being an astronaut.
He's jumped in and played characters when people have bailed on us. In a comedy show, does that happen? All the time.
What if this is a comedy show that you can do from your home, but people are still going to bail on that?
Guess it. Yep. For sure. With these excuses. So Dave's a good guy. Let's welcome Dave Yates, everybody. Round of applause for Dave Yates.
Hey, everybody, out there in Creany Gipper land.
Dave is a working road comic. You're supplementing your income through your hot sauce. And this is not a joke. It's not a bit. I have a bottle right here. Hot sauce. Dave, you sell this, you make it, and it's delicious. It's got all natural ingredients. Give us a little bit of your merch and tell folks how they can get a delicious bottle.
Since comedy is dead, my only source of income is selling my own brand of hot sauce called Hot Sauce. It is not a joke. This is real hot sauce. And I've been making it for about 6 years now. It has orange, pear, apple cider vinegar, Roma tomato as a base, and then I use the Carolina Reaper. I sell them for $10. You can go to hahahotsauce.com, and there's a PayPal button, and you can follow the social media at hahahotsauce, and it really does help. In quarantine, since comedy's not really happening right now, this is keeping me from eating out of dumpsters, as it were. So I know you could have chose a lot of people to help right now, Rob and Gary, and I'm very humbled that you asked me to show my little product. So hahahotsauce.com if you like hot sauce, everybody.
Appreciate that, Dave. It is delicious. I'm not just a friend. I'm also a member. Rob and I thought, maybe we could punch up your ad, because obviously, that was pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't
so-so.
great. I mean, yeah, you're obviously a you're used to being funny, and I guess when you're not allowed to be funny, you just kind of sound stupid.
Yeah,
We've written
I
some
just don't
copy
know.
for you. So if you don't mind, I'll do mine and
Well, sure. I mean, yeah, I value your guys' input. So
I didn't know we were doing hats, Gary.
here we go. When I first lost my daughter in a childbirth accident, I was drinking pretty heavily. I'd say that every day there wasn't a moment that I found myself wanting the sweet kiss of death. Until I found Ha Ha Hot Sauce, a hot sauce that makes us feel, laugh, and think. Because there's nothing better than comedy that makes you think. And that's what Dave Yates does. Whether it's through his racist puppetry or through his naked comedy online showcases, Dave Yates's Ha Ha Hot Sauce can be used as an extra little bite to every meal, an external lubricant, as well as an octane for your basic engine. HaHaHotSauce.com.
Gary, like, you can't use that as fuel. Like, I'm gonna get in trouble.
I mean, nobody knows. So, I mean, if you don't tell them, it's fine.
I might be able to do a little bit of a better.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, there were parts that were fine, I guess, but like, Rob, what do you have, man?
I live my life to the extreme. Everything I do is extreme. The way that I run is extreme. The way that I drive my car is extreme. And when I want something extreme in my mouth, I go with Ha Ha Hot Sauce or dog dicks. Yeah, love chopping a dog dick with some Ha Ha Hot Sauce on it. Woo!
That's pretty good. I think that was pretty on point. I feel like Rob's onto something with this young image thing.
Rob does
Obviously,
have a boyish face, but like, I don't. It's
kids
like
want sunglasses.
It's
They
not
want a
the
hat.
X game.
Hey, man. That's right. When I'm trying to get through airport security, there's only one bottle that lets me get my opium through. Ha Ha Hot Sauce. And if you're buying one bottle of Dave Yates's Ha Ha Hot Sauce, try Old Gary's Hot Sauce. It's $1 less than Dave Yates's hot sauce.
Gary, you just basically took a label and put it over my hot sauce.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I see your point, Dave. Let me try one. Hey, man, whether you're kicking back, enjoying some cervezas with your hombres, or you're enjoying a nice bowl of Doritos, nothing better than a Huffin' keyboard cleaner. Really makes your butthole open wide up. That's right. Get Huffable keyboard cleaner from Rob Creany.
Rob, that's not even my hot sauce. And
I feel like the hats and the glasses are taking away from the product, Rob. So
Yeah.
let me just strip it down, make it basic. Ha Ha Hot Sauce. Want to laugh? Want some food? Want that food to be spicy? Try it. For every bottle you get of Ha Ha Hot Sauce, only 7% includes this jar of Not My Piss. For every bottle you get of this, Not My Piss is in it.
that's your piss.
Don't worry, it's Not My Piss right on the label.
Everybody's going to know that's your piss.
If it
Why?
says Not My Piss.
I want to take a moment. We're having some fun here, joking around, but I want to let you guys know that this is a real product, Ha Ha Hot Sauce. Also, another real product that you can get, Rob Ritos. It's a fun, crunchy snack that you can enjoy around the house. And you know what I bet it would go great with is some Ha Ha Hot Sauce.
And Not My Piss.
If you're looking for a protein to mix in with whatever you're using that Ha Ha Hot Sauce on, you could do a lot worse than Gary Bonzo beans. They're very good, and you can see right here that every bean is genetically engineered to look like Gary. It was not that hard. Garbanzo beans already kind of look like Gary.
Guys, I think we're missing the point here. Like this is not helping me sell hot sauce. And Gary, did you just put my hot sauce in your urine?
It's Not My Piss. And
Oh, get fuck, man.
ooh, it's a spicy meatball.
I can't believe it's not Gary's
Smelling,
piss.
Dave, how much is your hot
I
sauce?
sell them for $10, guys, and it won't have Gary's piss in it or Rob's fucking fake Dorito beans.
Good.
Like, HaHaHotSauce.com. Man, I'm gonna go fucking broke, guys.
He is legitimately a great hot sauceman. I do recommend it. He's my neighbor, so it's
and
flat
yeah,
rate shipping. So order more than one. It behooves you. to save on that.
We should say, Gary, we talked about this before the show. We've agreed that if 10 people from the stream buy the hot sauce, Dave will drink an entire bottle on the stream next week live. So if just 10 people buy a bottle, Dave will just chug the entire bottle, lick the inside.
I didn't agree to any of this.
And also, if we sell 25 bottles, Dave will butt chug a bottle of his own hot sauce, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Thanks, I guess, but I'm not doing that shit, man.
I'll do it.
Hot sauce. 10
Thank you
bottles.
guys. HaHaHotSauce.com. Please only buy 9 or 24 so I don't have to embarrass myself.
I think I got the hiccups from your hot sauce. Is that a side effect?
It was probably the piss.
Yeah, I've been drinking straight Gary piss, and I also have the hiccups. So I think it might be the Gary piss that gives you hiccups. Please welcome Amy Rubin.
Thanks, Rob and Gary. And I hope many of my enemies are watching tonight. I actually got laid off from my job in April because of COVID. I've been on the job market, and I've just had a lot of interviews, and that is a humble brag, to be very clear. When I say a lot, I mean 62. And I guess if you interview me after this, it'll be 63. Doing all these interviews has been like serial dating. I've had just about every experience that you can imagine having in dating, but all with recruiters. For example, all of the ones I'm super interested and passionate about and just dying to build a life with are very angsty. Oh, it's just not the right time. My life is really complicated right now. We're not looking for anything too permanent, just like a temporary thing. Is that, or maybe nothing at all? Is that cool with you? I've been ghosted a lot, to the point that I think Zoom was ready to just remove my gallery view feature altogether because I was clearly a party of one. I've had people lose my number, allegedly. I've had exes come out of the woodwork because apparently I'm the one that got away, and they've just been waiting sometimes years for me to be available. I've had to meet people's kids a whole lot sooner than I would have liked. And they often ask me invasive questions on Zoom. I've also had people I'm overqualified for, if you catch my drift, saying they love me the first time we meet and make me offers I'm not really interested in. As a result, I've had to friend zone quite a few of them. They don't just go quietly. They come groveling back, saying things like, we'll change, we promise. Just tell us what we need to do differently. We'll do anything differently. Just stay with us, join our family, meet our parents, companies. It's been intense. I've kind of been through the ringer, and it's not over yet. The night before anything high stakes, including interviews, I just cannot sleep at all the night before, ever. So the worst thing that anybody could ever say to me, the absolute death knell before an interview or any major life event, is big day tomorrow. Even worse is big day tomorrow. You need your rest. I would say those are the worst, but even sleep well is risky. Like, I prefer you not say it to me ever to be safe, because it will range. The range between sleep well and big day tomorrow, need your rest. Either way, I'm not sleeping more than 5 hours. I'll probably wake up every hour on the hour, riddled with worry that I've neglected Rosie on Animal Crossing a little too much. I haven't fed her. What if she's starving? I better get up and check. Before you know it, I've pulled up my old Neopets account, and we've slept 3 hours before this so-called big day. So I won't be wishing any of you good night tonight, because that is a little risky. I've got an interview next week, and I would like to sleep between now and then. So I will just say goodbye to my enemies.
Nice job.
Thanks so much for being here. That was so funny.
Amy, your chair is very fuzzy. Is that come like that, or is that a personal decorative choice?
It's a personal choice. I'm not allowed to have pets in my condo, so this is the closest thing, my chair pet.
Rob's not allowed to be near pets.
It's not that I'm not allowed to, it's just they freak out. I don't know what it is. Every time I get near a cat or a dog, they just... And I don't know.
Yeah, what's the one pet you haven't killed, Rob?
Those pets killed themselves. I just happened to be there.
They saw you, and then they were like, I just can't do it anymore.
Suicides don't happen because of one single event. They're accumulative.
Were these your pets?
Pets I happen to pass on the street, you know.
I would argue that if they're your pets, that is sort of a cumulative situation.
You have a couple pieces of paper on your wall behind you as well. It looks very fancy. Do you have some sort of degree or certificate or high score in laser tag framed? What is that?
Oh, I wish it were the laser tag. I'm averse to most forms of exercise that are not dance. So I wish it were the laser tag thing, something to strive for. Yeah, that's college and law school.
Oh, okay. I have a lot of legal questions based on Rob's activities.
You and every Uber driver in Austin has many legal questions. I am your lawyer, and I'm here to help.
Rob and I are bicycling. A young boy, say he's 15 years old, collides into me on a bike path. The young boy seems okay. We make sure he's fine. We got a lifeguard that was nearby because it was at the beach. The young boy's mother shows up and then demands my personal information. Rob says, let's just run. I think we make sure everybody's okay, but it's a bike accident. It's a bicycle accident. Do I need to disclose my personal information?
This is legal advice. Run.
I like that.
Also, I should say, I am not the other person on that story. The other person on the story is Dave Yates. They did run. They did get away with it, but you just got to think the police are probably out there looking for the guys from Mythbuster.
Was the boy visibly harmed?
So we didn't run. We made sure he was okay. And then he started acting funny when his mom showed up. I'm going to pass out. My arm's broken. And he was like moving his fingers. It was very bizarre. Then his mom left.
Like
and
throwing up and blood was coming out of his ear.
That is not true.
Like he was being dramatic.
He was being dramatic. That's for sure. I made sure before I left, I said, are we good? Are you good? And he said, yeah, I'm fine.
That sounds more like a mother wound than a physical wound.
Right.
I'm not a psychologist, but that sounds like mommy trauma.
Thank you, counselor.
Well, he tried to wait, but his arm wouldn't go up, so he just was kind of doing this.
Matt, but Matt's going to be on last. But Matt, do you have any legal questions for Amy? Well, we've got her on the horn. We might as well legal zoom the shit out of this moment. You know, who knows when we'll get some free ass legal advice.
No, I'm good.
First time.
I'm good with free ass legal advice. Thanks.
I'm honestly shocked because you would not believe the number of like strangers on the street or fellow Uber pool passengers.
Do you know where my Tums are? I'm looking for my Tums. That's why I'm walking around like a maniac. No, I don't think I need any legal advice at present. Thank you.
I do mostly intellectual property, copyright, marketing type stuff.
I have a product that I think is going to be a great product, but it does potentially infringe on an already existing copyright. It's raw burritos. It's sort of a tortilla chip that's in a spice.
That's spice? Haha hot sauce. Hotsauce.com.
Now, do you think I'm going to have any legal problems with the name raw burritos?
With just the name raw burritos? I mean, yeah, probably. You would need to like transform them in some way. Are you open to changing the logo?
It's such a good logo, though. But I guess I might have to, right?
Counsel, may I? Because of Rob's mental state, could you argue that there is no case for intellectual property?
What?
Just property?
Yeah, there's no faculties up here, so.
Interesting. You know, sometimes it does have to be like knowing and willful. I mean, if you're not that intellectual, you can't.
Yeah, I mean,
no.
Look how he's living. He's got a shelf full of memories behind him. Those are cloth diapers, by the way.
Also, it depends. Comedy is sometimes a defense for intellectual property infringements.
Oh, like parody law?
It can be fair use or parody or something.
But Rob has never done comedy in his life.
We can prove that it's comedy, then we might have a case for fair use.
What about
those are a little different because you've transformed the beans themselves, so it just is a little bit more different from the original product.
Did you draw dicks on all of them?
No, those are glasses and beards.
Same thing.
Although we did discuss earlier that it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
It doesn't require that much transformation between Gary and a Bean. So we have some strong arguments, strong potential defenses here in terms of fair use. But I think at various times during the show so far, you have negated each other's.
Yeah, we seem to do a lot of negating.
We're part of an improv troupe called Nope.
Normally improv is yes and. Our improv philosophy is shut up.
That's my kind of improv. I prefer to be negative, so I support it.
And we're also the type of improv that we pick like a real pretty lady in the audience, and then Rob puts his hands through her arms, and then you know what happens there. You know what I'm saying?
That's comedy.
Rob calls it Dr. Feelgood.
That is comedy.
I swear to God, I have opened for that guy 1,000 times. When you're hosting and making gas money, and you're watching someone make 1,000 times more on stage. Amy, we've annoyed you. We've had fun. Amy, how can people find you, check you out, see your stuff?
You can find me on Instagram, and my handle is just my name, Amy Rubin, all one word.
Rubin. Very funny stuff. We might turn to you for legal advice depending on what happens during the rest of the show. There seems to be a fire in Matt's home.
Sorry, I was cooking a tri-tip and the fucking smoke alarm went off and I baked and I couldn't find my Tums and man, but we got it. We got my super oven glove on. All right.
Matt Devlin, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? Sorry about that. Bad timing.
I think Matt probably saved my life with his charm in a Barry, Vermont pub, a town that was named after the guy that won the fist fight. I swear to God.
Shut up! Sorry, my neighbors are fucking walking around.
Let me reiterate, Matt saved my life with this charm. Yes.
Good times, man. Good times.
There was a woman named Quarters. Matt, do you remember why she was named Quarters?
I do, actually. Yeah, I do.
Why?
And if you want me to tell the story, you're going to have to ask me to tell it, so I'm not just going to volunteer it. And she would stick quarters up her ass, a whole roll of quarters, and then pump them out one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
It was a show I just was not in the right head spot for, and a guy with a gun on his hip kept interrupting. I tried to just plow through and not talk to him, and it didn't work out. And the guy with a gun on his hip did not like me.
He didn't like anybody, starting with himself. That's the problem.
And then he went at you. Do you hunt? Do you hunt? Do you hunt? Do you hunt? Again and again.
Oh, yeah, when I was on stage, yeah.
He had his hand on his hip, right by his gun. Not on the handle, but it was kind of impatiently teapot.
Close enough. Well, I also have this long-standing wet dream of getting shot in the face on stage. And, you know, I mean, if you can't get a Wikipedia page for that, what the fuck can you get one for? I mean, they're all good-natured people, but they're a little bit unhinged. But, you know, they wave the flag and listen to the right music as far as I'm concerned. Fuck me, dude. They had Miller High Life bottles for $1.
Whenever I go on a live show with Matt, I know that Matt will do something that makes me howl. Usually has almost nothing to do with comedy. It's just him being himself. Do you remember we did a backyard show in San Diego?
No.
And somebody was asking about your box cutter.
Yeah. Was it the box cutter or was it the quick release? I can't remember.
Some girl.
I threw a knife at the chick?
Yeah. So quick context. This drunk front row girl was just like, give me your knife. Give me your knife. She just kept going at you.
Yeah.
And you were sick of it. You're on stage. You're performing in a fucking backyard. There's like a cliff fall off.
The freeway and that chick.
With a mall skyline behind you. I just saw you take out a closed knife and throw it at her. Oh my God. And she loved it.
People are weird. That was the weekend the dude jumped off the building, right?
Yeah, we were at the Madhouse. It's an outdoor mall with like 3 floors. And Matt and I were double dipping. We did a show early there at the Madhouse. Went and did a backyard show and then went back and there was tape and traffic cones. Yeah, some guy just jumped off the top of the building.
So what you're saying, this backyard show is your alibi? Could have been us. We were at a backyard comedy show. That's a real thing that happens.
It wasn't an alibi, although it would have been a good one, wouldn't it? That was a Connor Loffman Delac. That was a great weekend. I've been trying to think of new quarantine alibi methods because everybody's like stuck at home now. And if you're lucky enough to be on your own, you need alibis. And what do you do in quarantine with all the tracking devices? And, you know, now they're going to give us a vaccine chip and everything. And you're not going to be able to fucking murder people in the front row of comedy shows anymore because everybody's all up in your shit.
For me, the best quarantine alibi is diarrhea. Always diarrhea. If you're ever late for anything on Zoom, just go, diarrhea.
Yeah, but when was the last time you took a shit with somebody? You know, like there's nobody there to substantiate that.
You're talking to Rob Creany, serial shitter, also known as the duplex dumper. Any stairwell that you find, that's Rob.
You need to stop shitting in public and stop throwing knives at women at comedy shows. I hope we get back to that.
On paper, it sounds like you're a murderer when you throw a knife at somebody. But she was flattered. Didn't you get her number or something after this?
I think so. And I promptly sliced it up into little pieces with my knife. Yeah, of course the fucking phone rings. Hang on, let me tell this dickhead where to go.
Make it live on air. I love... Matt has a beard that matches the fact that he has a landline phone.
Hello? Hang on, let me put you on speaker. We're doing a show. Hang on. It's Sarah from something in the thing in the research doing some shit. Hang on, Sarah. Can you speak as loud as possible so Gary and Rob and Amy can hear you?
Sorry.
What are we trying to figure out?
We're conducting a survey
Yeah.
on the upcoming election.
Survey on the upcoming election. My favorite thing to talk about. I love politics. You gonna ask me which pervert to vote for?
No.
All right. Who's sponsoring this? Is this another Mike Bloomberg thing?
Sorry?
Is this another Mike Bloomberg puddle of shit?
No.
You're not gonna get sensible answers out of me. Why don't you shoot off the first question and we'll figure it out?
Okay, when it comes to the coronavirus,
Yeah.
I think the risks of being exaggerated, being described accurately, or not being taken seriously enough.
When it comes to the coronavirus, I think it's being what? Exaggerated or not explained enough or accurately explained. I think it probably depends on which television station you're watching. And I know somebody who died from it. So, yeah, good times. Gary, who's behind you?
My self-defense dummy.
Exaggerated,
He calls him Rob.
accurately, not taken seriously enough, or undecided.
Undecided.
Which of the following viewpoints come closest to your own?
Which of the following viewpoints come?
Solve problems and help meet the needs of people, or government doing too many things left to business and individuals. So should the government do more to solve problems, or government is doing too many things already?
The government's doing too many things already, and they're barely getting half that right.
Which of the following viewpoints comes closest to your own? Renters are being hit hard in the current economic downturn, and new laws are needed to protect them. Or during these tough economic times, the last thing we should do is pass laws that take rental housing off the market and stop new housings from being built.
I don't understand that question.
Basically, which one comes closest? The renters hit hardest by economic downturn and new laws needed, or shouldn't pass laws that take housing off the market?
The first one. I'm in favor of the renters.
Which of the following viewpoints come closest to your own? If a ballot measure has been defeated by the voters, the new measures must be significantly different in order to...
Jesus Christ, this is killing me. I gotta go. Sorry. It's fucking shitty rhetoric. They give you two choices and be like, what do you think? Two options. You're with us or against us. We gotta start teaching rhetoric in school. Kids need to learn how to roll joints, manage their finances, and understand when they're getting fucking duped in a conversation.
My favorite part of that was when you said that you think the government is doing too much. And I just thought, a libertarian with that beard?
Back when they wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, and they used the word men, it didn't include cats like us. And it certainly didn't include people that were hauled over here against their will to dig the trenches and do all the work. And I think we've forgotten that as a nation, that when they say all men, they ain't talking about the vast majority of us. And it wasn't that long ago women couldn't even fucking vote. And you want to get into a civil rights conversation right now, I just took a tri-tip out of the oven. So let's make it snappy. We romanticize the history of this nation, and there is so much good shit, but there's also a ton of fucking room for improvement. And maybe we can pull up our big boy pants and accept the fact that a lot of fucking scumbags in the background making things happen. We haven't heard the last of the Trumps. He's got a whole bunch of shitty little fucking kids running around. There's at least one more Clinton coming through the ranks. I want to buy an island and run a phone line and talk to fucking Sarah for the rest of my life. Answer stupid questions.
Matt always makes me patriotic.
And you know, and it's patriotic to fucking hoist up all your middle fingers, in my opinion.
Matt Devlin.
No.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you too.
Round of
All
applause,
right, so when are we going live? Like, you're gonna put the video and shit out there, and then what are we supposed to do?
You're good. You're good. You did it.
Yeah.
You were great.
All right. I'm gonna eat a fucking steak.
Do it.
Oh, look at this patch I found. Narcotics officer.
Oh, I want that.
I found it on a passed out law enforcement official.
This is the patch. I found this patch. It says dead milkman. I found it just in my room. I was cleaning.
I didn't find a patch, but I did find this of 3 flasks. Did somebody say open bar?
Why would you need a flask if there was an open bar? Like, that's the one place you don't need the flask.
That's the best thing about drunks is they don't make
fill
much
up
sense.
the flask for later.
I don't think the bar will do that. I think if you go to, even if it's an open bar, you can't just bring a flask and be like, right? And they're going to say, look, just come back when you want another drink. We had a comic cancel. And so this next comic was nice enough to step in and take that comic's place. She's hilarious. One of my favorite people in the world, one of my dearest friends. Please welcome Angela Sawyer.
Angela Sawyer.
I haven't met Matt before, but he is indeed very charming, and I really like that everything that he said seemed like he might be the best friend of Ghislaine Maxwell. It just seemed like he was covering for her the whole time.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's not an insult, I promise. You just seem fun. That's really all that I'm saying.
All right. I was
She's
chewing.
going to be in prison or maybe dead, but like, you seem great. How are you guys? Rob, Gary, Amy, how are you?
We're doing good. Amy is our on-show counsel now, which, you know, much to her chagrin. Rob is sassy as ever, full of sass. How is Boston today? You're in JP, yeah?
Yeah, Boston was hot today. I got up early and got my laundry done and went to a thing in Harvard Square where people were standing outside Bank of America demanding that they pay reparations. I was an hour and a half late. So by the time I got there, all the reparations anger was dissipated and there were just some nice people sitting around. and honestly, that's okay, because if you're having a very hot-blooded, angry protest, you don't want a fat middle-aged white lady showing up, hey! It's not a good look for you. Honestly, showing up late and then just like buying a sticker is perfectly fine. I've been trying to participate lately in the protests that are going on, and I find that I am mostly too fat to be woke. I cannot march that many miles. I try and start out like at the front of the march so that I can get ahead of things, and then little by little the march just like passes me by. And usually when the march has fully passed me by and I'm not marching with anyone anymore, that's when it's time to go home. So I've been to half of a bunch of marches. The one thing that I really like about the recent protests as opposed to older ones is that it's mainstream enough finally that they started making plus size woke clothes, which I love. A couple of years ago, I tried to buy a bunch of t-shirts because I'm all about the optics. If there's anything I want, it's to show people what I'm doing instead of actually doing anything. A couple of years ago, I tried to buy an Antifa t-shirt, which is wrong. Like, if you are actually against fascism, you shouldn't put it on a shirt and parade it around. It's really not the way to go. But I was like, I don't care. I want this shirt. I want to do this. So I bought the shirt and it was like 6 sizes too small. When are they going to let fat people in this movement? But finally, it's mainstream enough that you can get Malcolm X t-shirts where his face is just like widescreen. And that is nice. It's more inclusive and I'm here for it.
A friend of ours, Ted Pettengill, he used to do comedy, killed himself, I think. I don't know. He doesn't call anymore, I presume. Ed is a good buddy. I love him. And he was wearing a Martin Luther King Jr. shirt, but it was like stretched a little weird, and I was like, "Hey, Sherman Helmsley," and he called me an asshole, but it's the shirt's fault.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Sherman Helmsley, the actor, was a big fan of this British psychedelic band called Gong. Obviously, I didn't go to Sherman Helmsley's house and see this, but apparently Sherman Helmsley, the actor, had like a little shrine to this very white hippie French band inside his house. And so whenever I picture him, I like to picture him much like that shirt, with like a stretched out face dripping from LSD, with like a pyramid triangle with rainbows on it on his head. That's the way we should all get to be. We should all get to participate in each other's bullshit.
You were saying that you are too fat to be woke. I personally am fat enough to be woken up 25 to 30 times a night when I stop breathing. So.
There's definitely levels to fatness. And I am not yet at the needs a machine to breathe level. That's the Darth Vader level. That's a nice, it's a high level. But I am at the, if I don't wear long black socks everywhere, I get weird lumps on my legs level. Basically, all the levels make you a different Star Wars character, and I'm just hanging at the bar.
You're the guy that says, he doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
I'm at the level where maybe I shot first.
Angela, you're a big proponent of the Phantom Menace as well as Columbine. Let's talk about. No, that segue is very forced. Angela, you are a legitimate graduate of Columbine High School.
It's true. I graduated there in 1988, so I was there before it was cool. Now it's so old-fashioned. It's such a old classic. There was a while when it was a real conversation stopper. Sincerely, one time, without thinking about it very hard, I brought it up on a first date. And scared the fuck out of that dude. Going to Columbine High School, it's a nice shorthand. You can tell that I had a bad time, but you could have told that from looking at me. So having a bad time as a teen, button, it's not that much better. I did have a hard time when I was a teenager. I didn't get along with my parents very well. In fact, when I was 16, I was supposed to get my senior picture taken. I had a fight with my stepmother, and she sent me to get a really short haircut as a punishment, like an inch long. She Sinead O'Connor'd me before that was even a thing. And honestly, it bothered me when I was 16, but not that big a deal. And so I did a very goth teen thing. I cut myself out of all the family photos when I got home. And
brilliant.
I've listened to the Smiths twice, but my parents were honestly pretty nice about how upset I was. I didn't want a yearbook. I didn't want a class ring. I didn't want a shirt, any of that stuff that you buy from when you graduate from high school, which the school needs to hire more cops, I suppose. I don't know why they do that. I didn't want any of that stuff. And my parents were like, look, we understand you're upset. Things are tough, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you'll regret this sometime in the future. Maybe you'll wish that you had this stuff. And I gotta admit, they were totally right. There is nothing that I wish I had more than a Columbine High School t-shirt now. That is authentic and original. Talk about a way to get a first date going. If there's a shirt that I want, it's a shirt that you're gonna want to fuck me in. And that is what I would have if I had just allowed myself to buy that shirt. So listen to your parents. Sometimes there's so many kinds of wrong that you end up winning. I guess is the point there.
Cutting it out. Am I good now? Am I good now?
Just sing a little bit.
God bless America.
Really, dude? You're not going to break into some Skinner? The Weymouth High School fight song?
Yeah, what's the Weymouth High School fight song, Gary?
I can play it on drums. Fight song.
Hey, I love you guys. I got a hot date with the sunset and a bottle of wine.
Cool. And, have fun, Matt. It was nice to meet you.
Matt Devlin, Venice Salvage. Check out his stuff. I buy it all the time. Hats, shirts, jackets. They're fantastic.
This is one right here. That's a Venice Salvage original right there. Confuse everybody.
Bye, Matt. Thanks for joining us. Angela, you wonderful. Amy, thanks for letting us annoy you. And you were great. Rob, I think I'm dying on the stream. At G2020 on Venmo. It's also where you can contribute $5 to the show so we can pay folks. Hot sauce for our friend Dave Yates. It's actually really, really delicious and good. He makes it himself.
Get your Gary Bonzo beans at any place that fine Gary-themed foods are sold. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been co-host with Creany and the Gipper every Saturday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.
And I got a question for Amy, but it's an offline question about the, do you have any experience with the USPTO website and doing like art searches and stuff like that?
Serious answer, patent or trademark?
Patent. Utility patents primarily, or is it mainly trademark?
I have a lot of experience with the trademark side, but not qualified to do the patent side because you have to have a science background for that.
Yeah,
Matt,
okay. Right.
I'll say it once. I'll say it again. You cannot patent your beard.
Patent your mother. What?